Hey guys, how you doing? It's KJ here from the scariest movie ever made and riggedreality.com. And I've got an awesome article to share with you guys today. This one's for the truth seekers. This one's for those who dare to question the status quo. This one's for the conspiracy theorists. It's a term that most of us don't like, of course, and there's a reason why there. And that's actually addressed in this article. There's a new article that just came out. I'm going to get to it in just a little bit. That says that conspiracy theorists are actually more sane than the people who accept the official story behind all these conspiracies that we're investigating and looking into, right? Another thing it gets into is, where did the term conspiracy theorist come from? Who developed it? Why is it out there? Well, they get into that as well. And I think you're really going to appreciate what we find here, okay? So before we get to that article, though, I want to just kind of, let's take a little trip down conspiracy theory lane here and just, look at a few things. So, as I checked out this article, it really blew me away, like I said, and I'm just going to read it to you when I get to it. But it got me thinking, and I started thinking, when did I really start questioning things myself? And, a lot of you may be the same way out there. I was a huge X-Files fan, And if you watch the X-Files, you probably remember that poster right there that was in Fox Mulder's office. I want to believe, right? Well, essentially, Fox Mulder was the conspiracy theorist, he gave a conspiracy theorist cred, so I kind of came up on the X-Files, and it really made me start questioning things more. Even before that, I'd always been, not really into pack mentality. Not so much a loner. I've got friends, and I always make friends easy, but I do like to spend time alone, thinking, putting things together, trying to figure stuff out. Not in a bad way, not in a negative way, just because my mind's like that. I'm interested. It's like, the world's a puzzle, and I'm trying to put the pieces together. So I'm sure a lot of you out there can relate. So I think the X-Files started that off for a lot of us. It kind of put the conspiracy theorist out there in the media. But then again, there's the stereotype of conspiracy theorists most of us think of when we hear of conspiracy theories. And the article, once again, it addresses this, and we'll get to that momentarily. But, check this out. You see it on a lot of my videos, anybody else's videos out there on YouTube that's doing Illuminati stuff, or, questioning some of the false flag events out there, questioning 9/11, maybe the Boston bombing, whatever it is. But, you see the comments. They get nasty. They get really nasty. And it's always, you're crazy. Take off the tinfoil hat. Move out of your mom's basement. You're retarded. You're gay. Whatever. It's always stuff like that, okay? So that's just part of the system. This is the way that most people see conspiracy theorists. You see? Tinfoil hat. Cuckoo crazy. And then there was that, of course, from Signs. It was a funny scene, but, once again, it just becomes a part of the collective consciousness. We see this all the time. So people just get triggered into thinking, oh boy, this one's questioning things. He doesn't believe what Fox told him or what MSNBC said, so cuckoo, this guy's crazy. But, that's just part of the way that people have been programmed through television programming, movies, video games, music, all that stuff. And speaking of movies, of course, there was that Mel Gibson movie Conspiracy Theory, where, of course, he was kind of a whack job. He was right, he was right the whole time, but he was also portrayed as kind of a whack job throughout the whole thing. Same thing with 2012. It's just a few examples, but, I see it all the time. I'm sure you do too. Anytime there's a conspiracy theorist in a movie or a TV show, they're a whack job. They're crazy. They're living in an RV. They're single. They're unkempt. They have stuff all over the walls. Diagrams and pictures, and they're just going bonkers. But that's not really the way it is, right? Most of us are fairly normal people out here who are doing this stuff. So, but again, this is the way it's portrayed in the media all the time. So, it should be no surprise that so many of the sheep out there, the people who don't question things, which is the majority of the world and society, they're going to look at you like this, like, oh boy, here comes the whack job, right? But, the truth of the matter is, too, is that, we're living in a time right now where kind of the new king of media in a lot of ways, the new king of the news is Alex Jones. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with Alex Jones. Alex Jones kind of is the first person that woke me up to a lot of this stuff about 6 years ago. So I got to give him credit where it's due. I know a lot of people question his motives, and, I don't know much about that. I still check into his show sometimes, but I have to admit that, the crazy act he does with just kind of losing his stuff and rawr, I mean, it's not helping, you know, like the Piers Morgan. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw Piers Morgan when he kind of lost his stuff on that show. I was just like, face palm, you know, here we go. Come on, dude, you know, pull it together, you know. But it is what it is. Maybe he's just a really passionate guy. Maybe he's all, you know, part of the plan. I'm not really sure. So I guess that all remains to be seen. So the truth of the matter is there really are a lot of interesting things happening in the world at all times. And, you know, most people in the world have been so programmed to just kind of, you know, they're dumbed down. I mean, it's GMOs in your food, genetically modified food, chemtrails, you know, bisphenol A in your plastic bottles. I mean, all the chemicals we're taking in, all the garbage we're seeing on TV, all the programming working together. It's no wonder we're surrounded by a lot of zombies. You know, that's not to be mean. It's true. I know you see them all the time as well. So you have a lot of people who are afraid to think, you know, are afraid to look outside the box, and that's what we're trying to do here, I'd like to think, is the community of us, me and all of you guys out there. We're trying to wake people up. We're trying to find out the truth about things because it does matter. It does matter. So, of course, there's JFK. We got the 9/11 stuff right here. Remember the weird faces that happened in the smoke? Here's one I like a lot, and I'm sure you can find out a lot of information on this. I even put this in the movie, the scariest movie ever made, a little bit about it, but it's the Denver airport. Really wild stuff out there, a lot of interesting Illuminati connections to that. You get the mystery of the money. You know, it's the New World Order. It says it right there in front of it, or in front of you. I mean, they wrote down their plan and put it on paper, and they called it money, and that's what happened. And you know, we're carrying it around in our pockets all the time, and nobody even, you know, takes time to really look at all the occult significance behind the money and the symbols. Of course, we had Sandy Hook right there in the Batman movie. A lot of interesting things with Sandy Hook anyway. We had the Aurora shooting. And, you know, I've done a lot of videos on these subjects, individual videos. A lot of other people have too. If you haven't investigated any of this stuff, just start doing some searching. You know, look around a little bit. There's a lot of things to be found out there. Boston bombings, another really interesting one. Of course, you got the Illuminati card from '95 with joggers. These guys were the bombers? Who are these guys, right? Have you seen this one yet? They put the bomber on the cover of the Rolling Stone. Look at that. Almost like a Jim Morrison pose, too. Like deifying this guy. So, you know, if you can't smell something rotten there. Of course, another one of the Illuminati cards, the Fraternal Orders card. Here's one you can tell somebody, and if you really want to, you know, get the stink eye from most people out there, just try to tell somebody that all the presidents are blood relatives, and they are. All but one are blood relatives. So again, if you're not familiar with that, check that out. And then, of course, there's the more fringe stuff. Usually the last line most of us get into when we're kind of investigating things or, you know, checking out conspiracies or searching for the truth. It's that reptilian stuff, which I've never bought. I don't like the term reptilian. I think these are just demonic manifestations. These are spirits. The eyes are the window to the soul. I think we're seeing that right there in these guys. But then you got even weirder stuff like this with Beyonce. You got the weird stuff right here with Angelina Jolie. Just more anomalies here. Look at those teeth. And of course, there's Jennifer Lopez's demon eye, or some of you may say lizard eye out there. And then I just threw this in for fun. Conspiracy theories are not always wrong. All right. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and let's get to the article. Check this out. Alright guys, so here's the article. Awesome article. Pay attention. Good stuff here, okay? It says, new studies, conspiracy theorists sane, government dupes crazy, hostile. Alright. Recent studies by psychologists and social scientists in the US and UK suggest that contrary to mainstream media stereotypes, those labeled conspiracy theorists appear to be saner than those who accept the official versions of contested events. The most recent study was published on July 8th by psychologists Michael J. Wood and Karen M. Douglas of the University of Kent. I'm going to go down here a little bit. It says the authors were surprised to discover that it is now more conventional to leave so-called conspiracist comments than conventionalist ones. Of the 2,174 comments collected, 1,549 were coded as conspiracist and 715 as conventionalist. In other words, among people who comment on news articles, those who disbelieve government accounts such as 9/11, JFK assassination, we outnumber the believers by more than 2 to 1. That means it is the pro-conspiracy commenters who are expressing what is now the conventional wisdom. We have become the new mainstream, guys. Crazy, right? Now, while the anti-conspiracy commenters are becoming a small, beleaguered minority. So perhaps because their supposedly mainstream views no longer represent the majority, the anti-conspiracy commenters often displayed anger and hostility. The research showed that people who favored the official account of 9/11 were generally more hostile when trying to persuade their rivals. And I see that all the time. Again, I know you guys too. You're retarded. You're gay. Right? It's all right there. So additionally, it turned out that the anti-conspiracy people were not only hostile, but fanatically attached to their own conspiracy theories as well. According to them, their own theory of 9/11, a conspiracy theory holding that 19 Arabs, none of whom could fly planes with any proficiency, pulled off the crime of the century under the direction of a guy on dialysis in a cave in Afghanistan, was undisputably true. The so-called conspiracists, on the other hand, did not pretend to have a theory that completely explained the events of 9/11. For people who think 9/11 was a government conspiracy, the focus is not on promoting a specific rival theory, but in trying to debunk the official account. And that's absolutely true. So in short, the new study suggests that the negative stereotype of the conspiracy theorist, a hostile fanatic wedded to the truth of his own fringe theory, accurately describes the people who in fact defend the official account of 9/11, not those who dispute it. And additionally, the study found that so-called conspiracists discussed historical context as well. Both of these findings are amplified in the new book Conspiracy Theory in America by political scientist Lance DeHaven Smith, published earlier this year by the University of Texas Press. Professor Smith explains why people don't like being called conspiracy theorists. The term was invented and put into wide circulation by the CIA to smear and defame people questioning the JFK assassination. So right there it is. This is where the term conspiracy theorist came from, right? And the CIA's campaign to popularize the term conspiracy theory and make conspiracy belief a target of ridicule and hostility must be credited, unfortunately, with being one of the most successful propaganda initiatives of all time. So anyway, guys, it goes on and on. I'll leave a link so you can read the rest of it, but that's kind of the meat and potatoes of it right there. So there you go, guys. Recent studies by psychologists and social scientists in the US and UK suggest that contrary to mainstream media stereotypes, those labeled conspiracy theorists appear to be saner than those who accept the official versions of contested events. So there we go. Something to think about, right? I don't know if it's going to change the comment section very much. I'm sure we're still going to get plenty of vile and profane and angry arguments down there. But really the whole point of the video, guys, is if you're not already questioning things, if you don't already have an open mind, I know it's a little scary at first. It's always scary when you kind of wake up to this stuff. When you really start questioning things, it can be scary, and a lot of people just want to retreat. But I'm telling you, we're living in a time right now where this stuff is just all over the place, and we really have to start questioning things more and more. Okay, you've got to. I mean, if not, you can stay lost in the matrix, as long as you want, and stay a part of this Babylonian system, and that's your choice. But I choose to question. I want to know the truth, and I know a lot of you out there do as well. So, thanks again, guys. Keep seeking the truth. Keep your eyes open. Keep your mind open, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.